I was born into a one-parent family back in 1952. It was a traditional terraced house. It was on Lanark Street, close to the Shankill Road. You don't need me to tell you that life was a struggle in those days. They were austere. They were post-war years. Prospects were thin on the ground. And for me, my days in the classroom, they ended when I was 15. After that, I searched for a job. Belfast in the mid-60s was a changed and changing place. I found my way to William Reid Limited. That's in the Port of Belfast. Shipping agent. That was my first job as an office junior. In fact, what they meant was a message boy. Fast forward a few years later, a lad from a similar background, they joined the company, later became my business partner and lifelong friend, a lad called Tony Crummy. And we took over the business in the mid-80s. Not an MBA to our name. Today, after 53 years involvement with the company, I remain the chairman of the board. And my business partner, Tony Crummy, company secretary and managing director, manages the company on a day-to-day basis. I'm operationally retired. We're the largest logistic operator in Ireland for companies who import steel. We have the only facility in Ireland who can handle heavy steel coils. We have some 40, 45 pieces of equipment. And I would say if you valued that today, you're talking over £3 million of equipment we have invested. All our own money, from very humble beginnings. I'm proud of what Tony and I have achieved. I'm proud of where I've come from.
How many people do you employ?
Around 30 people.
Would these workers be from all walks of life, different parts of the world as well, but living in Northern Ireland?
Yes, they all live in Northern Ireland. We have Poles, we have Italian, local people. Most of them are native of Northern Ireland. We have guys with degrees in logistics. We've got normal run-of-the-mill people with barely no education, but they all want to work.
So you were saying that you're the largest importer of steel products into Ireland. So you have a north-south economic dimension to the business, is that right?
Absolutely. We don't import. We don't buy and sell. We just do the logistics.
Tell me why you believe, from your business point of view, even that alone, I'm sure there are other factors as well, but from the business point of view, you're better off Northern Ireland being in the Union.
Yeah, well, if I could explain it by, first of all, saying what my political involvement is, because that's another answer to your question, and I'll go through it if you don't mind. I've always had an abiding interest in politics. I guess coming from the streets close to the Shankill Road, you'd not be surprised to hear me say that I am a unionist. What I'm not is an Ulster nationalist. I'm a unionist in the British sense because I believe in the union and what it delivers. That's instead of the narrow Northern Irish unionism that finds it well nigh impossible to break out of its political straitjacket. My business is inclusion. I embrace all creeds and colours, deliver for believers and non-believers, open to all socio-economic groupings. I'm a Democrat too. To me, that means that if a parliament enacts a law that I don't like, I don't throw the toys out of the pram. Or as it happens, when you see a degradation exemption, take same-sex marriage, for instance, or abortion, I may share views with others who seek to modify or block these things, but in the end, our parliament has decided, and no devolved institution should entertain a separation or regional opt-out that amounts to a denial of people's rights. If you claim to be British, you buy into the whole one nation concept. There is no political a la carte in this. It's all or nothing. It recognises and celebrates my identity. I am British. I am Northern Irish. No different from a Scottish, Welsh, or an English person. I see no conflict, no crisis of identity. I still shout for the Irish rugby team. I'm happy in my skin as a unionist. I'm also happy that my ethos promotes the individual and celebrates success. I'm a can-do person. I applaud entrepreneurship. People who started with nothing but have an ambition to succeed. That's why I became actively involved in the Conservative politics in Northern Ireland. Today, you may know I'm the chair of the Northern Ireland Conservatives. I'm a man with a mission, you might say. We have more than 600 paid-up members, and the numbers are growing steadily. I want to grow the party, to professionalise it, make it fit for challenge. The established orange and green parties, I want to be a viable alternative. 22 years of the Belfast Agreement, we still have politicians playing kindergarten politics. As a unionist outside the accepted definition of that word, I have to say the enforced coalition in the executive, that it just hasn't worked. What more of them around the executive table forget is that the hundreds of millions they've allocated to departments comes from our national government. At the last count, the total additional funding from Treasury since the start of the outbreak 10 months ago has exceeded 4 billion. 4 billion. That's, in any language, is a hefty commitment, which reflects the government's commitment to Northern Ireland. I'm not ashamed of my beliefs, where I come from, and what I do to achieve for Northern Ireland as part of the United Kingdom, which is why I would have no problem driving down to Dublin to give a candid, forthright and honest take to Mr. Martin and his island unit in Leinster House. Unions have to have a strong message to deliver. Take cross-border trade as an example. There's nothing political about making a pound or a euro. The cross-border trade bodies, Intertrade Ireland, which was set up by a Unionist Enterprise Minister, has made its mark and been successful on a shoestring budget and should have been given a bigger budget, but that was deemed too political. For all the intrepid travellers, we still have a vast swathe of the population that is reluctant to cross the border, to explore, to engage with the natives. They too harbour suspicion and fears, nearly a mirror image of the suspicion and misgiving held by unionists that they consider Dublin's political motives for holding out the hand of friendship. Dialogue is good. It's about your belief in your message or what you're trying to sell. I look forward to engaging with Mr. Martin and his unit to help them gain a deeper appreciation of an Ulsterman who is a bit different from the people who don't do a terrible good job of representing my unionism.
Is it fair to say, getting back to your own business, that in many ways, because it's, as you say, you've got local people from all sides of the community, you've got people from Poland and Italy working for you, that in many ways it's a microcosm of what you'd like to see for the new Northern Ireland, and working with your colleagues in business in the South? Is that the way you'd like to see Northern Ireland PLC? That's
what has to happen with Northern Ireland PLC. It has to happen. It's a very small space that we live in. Our population in the whole of Ireland doesn't exceed 6 million. So we have to work together. I don't need to lose my unionism, and someone doesn't need to use their nationalism. They don't need to. We can live together in this space. We can.
Summing up in a couple of sentences, define your type of unionism.
I see the economic view of it, of being together as a four-nation union. I see we are better together. For my unionism in Northern Ireland, it's quite simple. I'm British. I want to stay British. I'm a Democrat at the same time, and should the time come where it's something else, then I'll abide by it. But I'll fight jolly hard to put the case forward.